BC Hydro began installing smart meters a few years ago. Now it's Fortis that's making the move. Well, Fortis says the new systems will offer plenty of benefits for customers. Those who oppose the smart meters say there are serious health risks involved with the upgraded technology.
Here we have a graph showing our exposure to radio frequencies, and this is since the year 2000, and it goes up like this. So the exposure is like 20,000 times greater than when it was in 1980. Is like 20,000 times greater than when it was in 1980.
This afternoon, a Decatur family is the first in the state to report a fire from their Georgia Power smart meter. The utility just finished installing 2.4 million of the meters.
The investigation into the fire's cause is ongoing, but where it started has been identified.
This is the area of origin, and now we're investigating it further.
It's an area where, amongst other things, the BC Hydro smart meter had been installed, raising questions about causation. Was the smart meter the cause of the fire?
I have no evidence that it has been or was involved in any way.
But the deputy fire chief isn't saying the meter or its installation played no role, and what remains of the meter has been sent to a lab for testing.
The biggest thing is we can't rule it out, so it's all part and parcel of what we do in fire investigation.
Hi there, I'm Darren Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
We're doing a special report debunking the smart meter debate and all of the propaganda surrounding it, because we just saw aired on Global TV a shockingly one-sided report on the smart meter debate.
Yes, they devoted most of their time in the story to the smart meter spin on how it's a good thing for you.
And of course, we started things off on this segment discussing one of the major problems that we've seen across North America with smart meters and fires caused by smart meters.
That's right. I mean, it's not really a smart thing to have something in your house that could cause it to burn down.
So, while we start debunking all of the myths on how safe they are, on how they have no health concerns and effects, we're going to talk about what happens right when they attach one of these things to the side of your house or group them together in your condo.
Or even before, to get you primed for the idea.
Check this out.
See all this? That was in my deep freeze. It was all melting within the first day.
Ashley Suggett is exhausted and angry.
I am furious.
The Nanaimo mother of two has spent the last 20 hours in the dark since her new smart meter started smoking and the power went out completely.
My energy saving kit. They pulled off the smart meter and discovered that this is all burnt. And it was causing a fire basically, and shorting out half the house.
The outlet for the meter is now charred, and Suggett says she doesn't want another smart meter installed.
I'm furious. I do not want a smart meter going back in this house, and I think a lot of other people should be aware of what's going on in case this happens to them.
But BC Hydro says it's not the smart meter, it's the home's wiring that's to blame. Though spokesman Ted Olenek says this same scenario has played out a number of times already, with a switch over to smart meters now fully underway. Still, Serge Vaillancourt is refusing to let BC Hydro change his meter out.
You could take this away. There's no way in God's green earth an installer can say that he has my consent.
And he's not alone.
Myself, I'm locked up. They're locked up. He's locked up. He's locked up. I could take you down the street and probably show you 10 homes on this street only because a few people have had the opportunity to do research and they're saying no.
With Suggett's story now only adding fuel to criticism, there needs to be more investigation on the potential risks of smart meters, all while she hopes for a better night than last.
At 9:30 at night, you tuck your kid in with as many blankets as you can and just hope for the best, because there's nothing else you can do.
Waiting until late Friday afternoon before the electrical problems that started here Thursday night were solved.
Later on, we're going to be talking about the story, the one-sided story that was on Global just the other day. And we're going to break it down to you on how the propaganda works. But talking about not covering the story, we don't have Global talking about the fires caused by smart meters.
Or the fact that your electricity bill will probably skyrocket once you get one installed.
We've seen this report and people very, very angry about the fact that their Fortis bills went right through the roof. And in other communities where smart meters have been installed, we've seen a shocker for Fortis or Power bills.
That's right, because it's not all about you and saving you money, it's about increasing their profits.
Check this out.
Joe Stockman is blown away by his latest Fortis BC electrical bill.
We don't turn the heat on above 65 on our dials, and we have blankets. If we're cold, we put on a blanket, especially at night.
Despite his efforts to conserve energy, his bill indicates he has gone into the second tier of usage, which charges approximately 13 cents per kilowatt hour. But it seems the issue isn't with the energy he's used during this last billing cycle, but with the energy he was using over the last 6 months, during which time Fortis was having a labor dispute, and the company was sending out estimated usages on bills as meters were not being read. And Joe isn't alone. Castanet has received several complaints from readers that their Fortis bill seems outrageously high and that their energy consumption did not appear to be accurately calculated. Fortis BC has also been plagued with calls from customers who used to be billed by the City of Kelowna for their electricity and now receive their bill directly from Fortis, as they too were affected by the lockout and are experiencing higher bills that show an increase in energy consumption.
What I did was I broke it down into a daily rate so that I could compare the two bills from Fortis and the city. The city bill I was paying $5.11 a day last bill, and the bill I received from Fortis worked out to be $7.36 a day, and that's a 44% increase. So I was shocked to say the least.
However, Fortis says in the future, we'll be able to avoid these estimated bills as advanced meters start to be installed this summer. That means customers can watch their usage online and bills will be more accurate. Jen Zielinski in Kelowna for Castanet News.
It just doesn't make sense. Susan McDonald was blown away to get a $745 hydro bill in December. She lives in a one-bedroom condo. How could the bill be so high?
$745. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking they moved the decimal point.
Susan is on Hydro's equalization plan. She was paying $61 a month and wanted someone at Hydro to explain why she got whacked with a big catch-up payment at Christmas. Susan was suspicious. Her new smart meter was installed just weeks before the massive bill spike. Could there be a connection? Jim Nicholson is a director of customer care for BC Hydro. Nicholson insists the smart meters are all tested, calibrated, and meet government standards. He insists there is no link between the new meters and bill spikes.
But just to be sure, BC Hydro sent a team here to Susan's condo building to test her new smart meter. BC Hydro says it is working properly. And after reviewing her past bills and usage, it says the bottom line, Susan just uses a lot of energy and she wasn't paying enough each month to match her consumption and now has to play catch up.
Susan's only recourse now is to file a complaint with the BC Utilities Commission.
If you really feel that you've been unable to resolve the concern, the Commission is here and we can provide additional information.
Now, we heard from Susan in your story there, but she's not alone in getting these outrageously big
Look at
bills.
this is no word of a lie. Just the emails I've received from viewers, I'd say in the last maybe 2 months, all connected to outrageous bills. They don't know what's going on. We've heard from dozens of people who claim their hydro bills have doubled or even tripled after the smart meter was installed. That seems to be the link. They are frustrated and they feel powerless because at the end of the day, Hydro says it's only responsible for the meter. And if that's working, it's up to you to figure out why your bills are so high.
So we're trying to cover the whole story here by presenting a couple of arguments against it, which Global News would not present.
Yeah, because who pays their bills?
Yes, if you take a look at the amount of advertising that Fortis does on major news, you'll see the reason why they're a little sketchy on reporting the downside of these smart meters.
However, Hydro's not really having that grade A time with their public relations.
Yeah.
They seem to be going through some issues with the technology.
So, in the next segment, we're going to be talking about the public relations spin. Let's talk about a recall that occurred right here in British Columbia.
Rob Gajowski checks his smart meter for accuracy. He's been climbing the ladder daily since his hydro usage spiked after the meter was installed last August.
I can't explain what's happened.
Gajowski says his family's electricity use didn't change, but average daily usage on his hydro bill went from 65 kilowatt hours a day to 102. After he called hydro, the meter is again reading 55 kilowatt hours a day.
Right now, as far as I can see, it's working fine, but somewhere along the way it may have jumped a couple hundred every day. I don't know.
Do you think your smart meter is faulty?
I do, I absolutely do. Problem is, it's hard to diagnose these things.
BC Hydro's smart meter supplier, Itron, says its meters undergo extensive testing before being shipped to ensure their accuracy and reliability. Now 1,000 of them are being removed, including one installed on a Surrey home just 6 weeks ago.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
The removal of 1,000 smart meters for quality control comes after hundreds of high bill complaints from people like Gajowski, who heats with a wood stove and uses an oil-fired boiler. The hot tub technician even has a meter on his hot tub to measure the power use and ensure it's not up.
It's interesting. I have a funny feeling they know something's up.
I don't know why you would install a meter and then weeks later take it off unless you had a problem. The problem is people are seeing massive spikes in their consumption. There's a problem and Hydro needs to fix it.
In our opinion, they should have been doing that testing prior to the installation of those meters, so it really makes us wonder why they're pulling them out now.
BC Hydro says no high bill complaints have been related to smart meters, but the union representing meter readers continues to get inundated with complaints.
The explanation from Hydro about higher usage during the winter doesn't quite seem to cut it with a lot of those people, that they say that they haven't been increasing their usage.
BC's energy critic has formally requested the BC Utilities Commission undertake an independent review of recent complaints regarding excessive hydro bills. Energy Minister Rich Coleman is out of town and unavailable for comment.
So the big spin that's being brought to us by the power companies who profit from these things is that there's no concerns at all.
That's right, but what do you expect from the power companies? I mean, isn't it their business to increase their profits?
And of course, they have a vested interest in profiting from smart meters being installed. Whether or not they're financing the actual smart meter production isn't important. The fact that they're creating massive quantities of unemployment by eliminating people who check meters.
And not only that, but they're also compiling a massive database on you. And privacy should be a concern, especially when you have one of these devices installed.
Remember, they can track when you're starting up your day, they can track when you leave your house for your day, and they can compile all that information and sell it off. Take a look at the privacy concerns within the smart meter industry.
General Petraeus has said, make no mistake about it, we have the ability to spy on your households through your appliances. And if we have that ability, we probably will use it.
In the summer of 2013, the San Francisco Chronicle revealed that California's electric utilities last year disclosed the energy use records and other personal information of thousands of customers to agencies within the U.S. government.
Why should people care about surveillance?
Because even if you're not doing anything wrong, you're being watched and recorded, and the storage capability of these systems increases every year consistently by orders of magnitude, to where it's getting to the point you don't have to have done anything wrong. You simply have to eventually fall under suspicion from somebody, even by a wrong call, and then they can use the system to go back in time and scrutinize every decision you've ever made, every friend you've ever discussed something with, and attack you on that basis to sort of derive suspicion from an innocent life and paint anyone in the context of a wrongdoing.
Remember, we've got more specials coming up. We're going to talk about the health concerns. We're going to be debunking the propaganda that Global is putting out right now.
Because, anybody that BC Hydro puts out there, don't forget, he's a public relations guy. And they used to call PR propaganda.
And of course, we can see it for what it is. And within the news story breakdown that we're going to do in a future segment, we're going to show you minute by minute, second by second, exactly the way PR and propaganda works. I'm Darren Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
We have a whole nother segment coming up talking about the health concerns while we continue to debunk the myths surrounding smart meters.
We are the anti-propaganda.
Make sure you stay tuned.